only time I've experienced actual healing, which to me confirms it is the way to go.
Hello and welcome to interview number 26 of Whatever. And tonight we have another special guest, Christy Forkenbrock. Christy is our first repeat interview. Her first interview had over 500 views. She was talking about seeing Christian Science in action. And tonight she's here to talk about a different whatever that she's been working on lately. So hello, Christy, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Okay, we're going to do a quick recap. So where are you from?
Actually from Southeast Idaho, Idaho Falls.
And where do you live now?
This is where I live now.
Where are you from originally?
From originally San Diego.
That's right. You grew up in Southern California, and now you're working and living at a Indian reservation, Native American reservation, right?
Yes.
And did you grow up in a Christian Sunday school? You did, right?
I did. In my early years, I did.
And you had some significant healings along the way. You were in and out of science like many of us. So can you tell the subscribers again why you're a Christian Scientist?
Well, I'm a Christian Scientist because it's the only, well, I'm going to say it's the only religion that makes sense. And it's the only time I've experienced actual healing, which to me confirms it is the way to go. It's and I can't leave it. It stays with me.
Yeah, once you know 2 + 2 is 4, you can't believe it's 5, even though you try, right?
Yes.
Okay, and tonight we have a different whatever that you'd like to talk about. So what is it?
Well, a lot comes up having to do with supply, and that's true for me too. And I've had my first situation that happened was I was an undergraduate, and I was a single mom with 4 kids. My mom was watching the kids one day while I was off to class, and money was tight. So I remember I had 3 counter stools, pretty expensive ones, but I thought, well, this is a good time to sell them. We're not using them anyway. So as I was going off to class, my mom said, well, why don't you call and put them in the paper? And I said, okay, well, I'll do that today. And so off I went. Well, I forgot to put the ad in the paper. I was just too busy. I came home, and before I got in the door, I was thinking, oh, I knew I forgot something. So, but as soon as I got in, I saw that the counter stools were gone. So I asked my mom what happened, and she said, well, a fellow answered your ad, and I guess, and he said the counter stools were perfect, and he actually paid more for them than I was selling them for. And I just looked at her and I said, I didn't even have a chance to put the ad in. There was no ad. And so I asked her, well, did you put something out that, let people know we were selling them? She said, well, no, she thought I was taking care of that. So apparently the need was met. And this fellow just out of nowhere showed up. They were exactly what he wanted. He paid even more for them than we were asking, and off he went.
God in action, almost like the story of the penny in the fish's mouth type of thing.
Yeah, and we were just looking at each other after that, like, that's got to be science in action.
Awesome.
So,
So that was
and
your first understanding, real good understanding about God being the source of supply.
yes, and that in the human experience, we don't know how that's going to manifest.
Right.
So that started a lifelong situation for me, that when things get really tough, and I go into the usual human, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this money wise? Then I check myself, and I remember that supply is just here. It's everywhere. It's not only supply, it's abundance.
Right.
And I focus on that. And as I stay focused, every time I get a check, sounds funny, but it could be a check for $1.50 out of nowhere. And then what that's telling me is my thought is on the right track. So this has been in the form of, suddenly I get a check that was from a deposit from a power bill that was from 12 years before. Where did that come from?
Right.
And just recently, I really wasn't in that big of a need, but thought, well, it'd be nice to be able to take a trip or whatever. So my thinking was right where it should be. It's not a matter of not having enough. Everything's covered. So I got a healthy check from Wells Fargo Bank, and this was in my husband's account from 10 years ago. So when it shows up in an unexpected way that I could not have planned. And it's incredible to me every time that happens. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Really, when we know that, as Mrs. Eddy says, creation is ever appearing and will ever continue to appear from the nature of its inexhaustible source. And I guess that's a paraphrase, but that's what you're talking about when you're not limiting yourself, and you're opening your thought to realizing God's abundance in everything.
we don't have to know where something's coming from, because in reality, it's already there.
Right.
But in the human experience, it can come through in the funniest ways.
Right. Well, you're great. Going to have you on again when you have more ideas to share. And one of these days we'll meet up, and we'll have what was that sandwich or food that you had with the practitioner?
Oh, tortilla soup.
Yeah. We'll have some tortilla soup.
Yeah.
All right.
That sounds
Thanks
good.
for sharing.
Okay, thanks for having me.